things of good news. One, I'd like a small, polite round of applause for Jayla.
Yes.
Rock star. Absolutely. Look at that. She repped us so well. I got messages. So I got bronchitis last week. I was devastated that I wasn't able to go and support her. But I got words of encouragement from agents like all over the region who said that she rocked it. So
Go Jay.
yeah. And two is this morning, Ryan Edmondson qualified as a luxury agent.
Yay!
So just super exciting things that are going on around here. This has been a really wild month. Sue, appreciate having you here as a voice in the market center. We're very sad that this is our meeting without Michael. But I know that we're doing really good things here, and I think we're gonna take the torch and move forward in a really positive way. So yeah, absolutely. So we celebrate those wins and we acknowledge the tough times we're going through, right? Okay. So let's get rolling.
All right, we will start with kind of the approval of last meeting's minutes real quick. So the disbursement of the updated onboarding packet, that was a Doug and Joe thing. So has it been shared? Because I don't.
The packet?
Yeah.
The onboarding packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I did show it. Yeah.
That was exactly what we did with Johnstown.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary is at the NCRC conference in DC, so that's why she's not on.
Okay.
Valid. So that's approved. Adding Fran Fletcher to the education/training committee. I know that we were talking about last meeting, her having her CE, and then just needing to hang her license. But is everybody okay with adding her to the education and training committee for the ALC and having her join in the future on these? Yes.
So Fran is the owner of Johnstown.
Yeah.
She's super. Yeah, she's a broker owner. Was a broker owner of an indie office. They took a Howard Hanna franchise for a couple of years. As that expired, that's when they moved over to us. So the Johnstown office that we picked up is hers. She is CE qualified, so she's an instructor, licensed instructor, and I think it would be a great way of two things. One is bridging the gap between us and Johnstown, and two is it would be a huge value add for us. There's a possibility that we would. I don't want to overpromise this, but there's a possibility we'd be able to actually have her teach in our market center and have CE credits count. So our agents will have the benefit of basically in-house CE.
Who's her teaching certificate under? Is her market center a school? Or
So she had it under somebody. She would put it back under them for that teaching certificate, and then we would just get educated. Like that would be how our education would go. So does anybody have any opposition to doing that? Okay.
Woohoo! All right. So I will add her on to all of the things for next meeting, and then also just share this recording with her. Just jumping into some final unfinished business from, that's been kind of ongoing, is walking tours.
So I'm gonna be clearly transparent.
Yeah.
I've been so overwhelmed with so much that I've totally dropped the ball. I mean, totally. But I've been.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to maybe shoot for later August,
Okay.
So that'll be nice too, because it'll start to cool down and people won't be too miserable outside walking.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. Do you want to connect at maybe a later date just to get like a firm day that you think would be best, and then just kind of start the wheels rolling?
Yep.
Okay. All right, and then DEI event slash, and then I'll just couple these two together with LGBTQ involvement. Happy Pride, woo! So,
I saw Chris woo.
yay!
I saw her mouth woo.
So I know that, Joe, you had said that you had another contact from Chicago that you could possibly reach out to. And then Deanna, I know that you had said that you might have another person potentially.
Yeah, he's in New Jersey and they started like with the youth, the adults, and they have like this class people graduate from.
Is this from the social equity, oh, it's the guy that was sitting at the table next to us that everybody kept clapping for?
Yes.
I could see his face.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Me too. He's
No,
sitting there.
Was it
Yeah.
Jorge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ricardo.
No, Ricardo.
No,
it's the
Ricardo's the
other-
military guy. It's the guy that was sitting next to
Yes.
him.
Right,
Um,
it's not Ricardo, but him and Ricardo is working together.
yes,
Yes.
because Ricardo does the military. That was the big aha from the regional meeting that we were just at, was that
Two, actually,
There-
the sports and.
sports,
military.
yeah, sports and military are both segments that I think we could bring out here. And the social equity task force, DEI, that
Yeah.
is coming from that guy, and I can't
So, and
remember.
it's really, it's phenomenal because they tied it into the city. And then like they have, besides tying it into real estate, it's like all bills, like the mortgages, the loans, like however, you fit in. They give them certificates. It's phenomenal. If I go back on my calendar, because I sat on 3 of their calls, but they're in New Jersey. He's willing to come to Pittsburgh at any given time to talk about how we can do this, because
Yes,
with their KW office, they have the KW, us for profit, but they also started a nonprofit that they were able to solidify funds to run this program, so that can actually help us in 2 ways. If we all 3 remember what the guy's name is like, for our school, we can get donations for our school, through that nonprofit, or if any of us, wants to do something special, we could get donations, because right now, technically, we can't get donations, we can get sponsorships. But the way he explained it through these calls with the nonprofit arm of it, you were able to get donations, like they did like huge fundraisers. I mean, everybody in that little part of New Jersey is not new, but, knows about them, supports them, the city supports them. It's really big up there.
I'm all about getting included. So my buddy from Chicago, his name is Jesse Coleman. He's involved in the national committee for social equity. He's also a QL instructor, quantum leap instructor, which is something that Alana's plugged into that community. He's an awesome dude, also an MMA, also plays MMA. So he's an awesome guy, and I think we could get him, like, I just am friends with him through a networking group and all. But I think plugging into the regional social equity would be key.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's willing to come, like, it would be, because he does it quarterly. So for him, I want to say, because the last time we had the call was in October, and he was able to come back January. So we need to reach out to him. He may not be able to get here till, October. Right. But at least we can have that in motion. I just have to go through.
We'll get our names from
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. So now we.
So that's unfinished business, but let's move that to the next meeting that we will make contact with him and we'll get a date on the schedule for a social equity training event. Yeah.
Awesome. And then for LGBTQ involvement, I did actually make some progress with this through a Facebook group that I'm a part of. There's going to be like a queer picnic basically in August. I want to say it's around August 14th. I reached out to the coordinator who has her own nonprofit, I think called Arts Out Loud. And so I was working with her and supposed to do a call with her But then with Michael's passing, that kind of just shifted everything and just didn't, wasn't that high on my priority list anymore. So what I can do is reach back out to her. But I said that we could, as a market center, offer our services to set up and break down, because it'll be in a city park. And so I guess I don't know what else that we could possibly offer them.
Could we, why can't we have like a table?
Yeah.
Sharing our information,
Mhm. I was gonna ask her if that's something that we could possibly do. And then I'm not sure, I'm sure that there would probably be like a booth fee, because I know they're gonna have like a food truck out there and like someone like grilling. So maybe as like a sponsor or a vendor or whatever for the event, to have a booth. And I could be out there, and anyone else who's interested. And
Are you a member of the KW Rainbow Network?
No.
Okay.
But I was going to say that we can highlight that.
So I was gonna, yeah, I think this month of any month, we talked about that on the national call. The national leadership call was that the Rainbow Network is the largest real estate agent specific supportive network.
Mhm.
And I think I'm all about it. I'm all about supporting whatever we can for diversity. So you can tie that in. So if you can join the group, I don't know if you have to be a real estate agent.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I can look into it.
Okay.
Because I feel like because if I can join technically KWYP, even though I'm not an agent, isn't that true?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think I'll look into it just to verify, and then do that. And then this is, I guess, technically unfinished, kind of more or less ongoing, is care calls to R1/non-producers. I'd like to say that outside of these like care calls, I also during renewal did outreach to everyone who in the 3 days before the 31st. I texted everyone who didn't show a renewal. And my responsiveness on those texts was minimal. It was either, yes, I already renewed it, and I'm like, great, or I was ghosted, and I was like, figured. And then there were some where they were like, I'm working on it, I'll do that tonight. And I'm like, you should do that a lot sooner than tonight, but that's okay. You say you're gonna do it, and so
I know one who definitely was the last minute was Ronnie.
oh, yep, I was talking with him.
Yeah, he called, he said, what is the portal, we couldn't get
Yeah.
into. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? One guy night.
Yeah, we were texting back and forth, and he was like, I can't figure it out. And I was like, okay, like you can do lost password or lost username. So I was like working through it with him. So he was one who did actually respond. So there are only 2 or 3 agents who did not renew in time. And so we have been working with them or trying to do outreach to them, basically like, hey, see you didn't renew, let us know, because you can't do anything. But those people weren't producers, or they were having like technical issues. But so I don't know. I mean, I've looked at the care call.
She's done a ton.
Yeah.
Do you want to report?
Have you have any updates beyond? Because I saw that last time was back in May.
I know, I can't use Google Sheets, y'all, I created my own way. Google Sheets is tricky, I have to upload back into them, I don't like it.
That's fine.
Right?
Excel is just easier, Google Sheets moves weird for me,
You're
I don't
not
like
the
it.
only one in this room with that.
You're both wrong.
I'm with you.
I don't like it. Anyways, focus, so.
I'd agree with you, then we'd both be wrong.
Okay, sorry for saying that. Alana, though, when you were messaging people about their renewal, so they may have not responded to you, but I had several people respond to me and was like, what's this about my renewal? How do I do this? So maybe they didn't respond to you, but a bunch of people did text me about the renewals. I made contact with the whole list of people almost weekly, sometimes 9 days, because I don't want to be like a parrot. But it's pretty consistent. Those who responded, engage, and then I have my maybe 5 of them. They're like, hey, thanks, cool. But they, you know, they say that. That being said, though, there's several people that we've just created this cool relationship that when they have questions, or, you know, Yvette called me last week. She's like, I'm going on a listening presentation, help me. So she went on that, and that was awesome. And just masterminding those conversations of how to say, like, we're not listing for your crazy price. You know, Lorna just had her first closing. Stacey Perry is supposed to close in 2 weeks. Sandy Madden is having her first closing tomorrow. So there is just a lot of new agents getting into production, and
Shaniqua's writing a listing contract right now. That's who's in here right now.
Congratulations.
Lorna went on a listing appointment. That'll be a list by, so we do have, from when we started on in March, I think it was in March when I started these calls, to now, just the jump in communication and trust, I think that these newer agents have is worlds of the difference. And they're getting into production and just sharing their excitement and struggles. And so I'm just gonna keep doing that.
So and
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm tempted to like formalize it as like an agent ambassador type of role or something like that. She's just really taken that by the horns. I want to share there's an emotional side of this, but like this is really just our commitment to our GPS coming to life. So if I mean, I put it out there. I don't know if anyone remembers it, but the GPS for the Market Center is it's about productivity, retention, and growth in that order, right? And so we're leaning into the things that are going to turn this Market Center around, and it's actually coming to life now. That's what I see here is like it's truly that happening, because we're getting a higher percentage of the roster into production, right? Which changes the cultural feel, because when you're talking about production, you feel better, and when you're making money, you're happier. And then that becomes a retention tool. So it's not like we're like wondering what our agents are out there doing on the streets because they're not making any money, because like it's part of the culture, and then that makes us more attractive for growth. So it's just really cool to see that happening. I appreciate her efforts on that type of stuff. And you know, Alana's been leaning into that. We talk constantly at the leadership level about telling the story of the Market Center. So my ask to our ALC is that in this non-producer R1, any kind of agent-to-agent communication is take that into the Facebook group, both the private group and the public-facing page. I want to make sure we're celebrating our wins and telling our story, because we're doing the right things. We just got to make sure people know we're doing the right things. So that's very, very exciting.
Chris, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to the share that Sam Stackneck's got her first buyer past inspection reply, and she's got her first listing up for the new agent share. And I put in 2 calls last week, 2 care calls. Neither agent called me back.
Well, that's awesome for Sam. I know that
Yay,
she's been working hard
Sam.
on them, so a little round of applause for Sam. I also realized that probably people didn't respond to me is because I have a 503 number and I probably look like spam to you guys. So that's probably it. But yeah, so that's awesome that we're making progress on everything. I think for the care calls, I will just keep this on the unfinished business because it is a recurring thing that we just keep doing, and just kind of have a monthly check-in for ALC meetings. But now on to new business. So we're gonna try and breeze through this really quickly. So we have a move out date. We can all celebrate that.
Oh, guess who's moving in? Howard Hanna, across the street.
No,
Black, yes,
They are?
yes, they're moving.
can't wait to make fun of their.
From the
grassy
daycare?
I'm not sure that's true.
No, that is, so.
Guys, I can't hear Deanna. Who's moving in?
And Tom.
Howard Hanna.
Yeah, and Tom,
Oh,
manager, that building is scheduled for demolition. Alicia was recruiting me on Sunday. And they're moving, and me and Alicia has a personal relationship outside of real estate. That's what she told me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I've seen some of the stuff in terms of what the new tenant's gonna look like, but our new building's gonna be awesome. So
You sure she didn't mean to cross together street? That's Palm Boulevard.
She said across to here.
they can have it.
Yeah.
Right?
Enjoy.
They're going from one building that needs demolished to another building that probably needs.
That's hilarious. I'd love to see how this turns out.
So back to us moving.
Yes, so,
Do they own the building across the street?
I would say, I'm not 100%, but they've been in that building forever. It always reminds me of a funeral.
Yeah, they don't have enough parking.
but yes, so we have to be out of this building by July 31st. So,
They're always.
yes.
We don't want to talk about that right
So that is, yeah.
Does anybody know an office Airbnb?
Do that down at the Bakery Square.
We could, yeah, if push come to shove, we could go to Bakery Square.
So, we might, push might come to shove. If we want to spend a little bit of time on the move, we are, like, drywall's up, probably 70-80%. We are at the mercy of, code, city occupancy permit's gonna be, fingers crossed. I'm less concerned about the state license for the real estate office move, because we've seen that they've been pretty responsive. Like when we needed Altoona Johnstown moved, it was like within 24, 48 hours, we were able to get that.
That's more of an organic thing could be done.
Yeah, we can make a strong arm call to the state for the license. It's gonna be harder in terms of occupancy, and also materials. Like we just got another gut punch on lights. Like they were like, oh, lights are 6 weeks out on this other thing. So we moved to a different light in order to get that to be under 30 days. So it's just constant supply chain issues and challenges. There's a legitimate chance, and I'd rather talk about it up front than later. There's a legitimate chance we have like a 2-week overlap period where we Airbnb it as an office. So
My main concern is that I'll be working on transmittal during this time. So it's gonna be kind of tricky. But
So if
Such a
everyone
gift.
can let me know, like, at least, hey, 2 weeks, prior, like, okay, this is, we'll definitely be able to go to Bakery Square.
I'd rather work on that early. So maybe in July, let me work. I'm actually gonna go down today. I'm gonna talk, I've been in daily conversation. Jackie, by the way,
Queen.
everybody, when you walk by Jackie's office, be nice because she's been phenomenal for helping us get this move done. She's been amazing. But I'll probably know close to July 1. If it's looking touch and go, I'd rather be safe and set Bakery Square up early and give us a 2-week overlap or 3-week overlap period, or whatever.
What would Bakery Square look like?
It would probably look like,
So let me, okay, so they have a, it's called Spaces, right?
Space.
a flex space.
So it'll offer us, like if we needed a secretary or anything like that. So it really depends. Or we could go into the Phillips building, So once Joe lets me know, then I could talk to Greg and them, and they could kind of guide us because, they might give us a storefront,
All we would need is a place for the girls, for us. You said it and I repeated it, but I don't know when you said it. But, like, as just people to drop off escrow or whatever in the meantime, and so.
And they have 2 conference rooms, so.
Yeah, we would have to be careful about that because we wouldn't have state licensing, so we'd have to be careful about the way
Okay.
that we describe, like, having a place to do real estate. So we just, for 2 weeks, I don't want to get overcomplicated, but that's probably what it
What
would.
about like furniture?
So that's the question, is we would probably do, we'd probably store all of the belongings here for the interim. So the developer on our building also has ownership over the fractional workspace building that's across from us. So if you're looking out of the new building, catty corner, there's that fractional workspace building and they have some vacancy in there. So it's possible that we would consolidate our stuff, have the moving company drop it there for the 2-week period and then move it across the street after that. The move cost isn't actually as high as we were afraid it would be. So I think we can afford to do that without it hurting Market Center. And from Eva's already anxious about,
So anxious.
so we have, I guess this is public information, at least don't like put it on Facebook or anything. We have a working agreement with the Irwin office now. With Melissa Merriman's office in Irwin. So it's possible that we would move Eva either to the north temporarily, just have her like spot up there for 2 days to do transmittal, or potentially move her to the Irwin office to have a brick and mortar place to do transmittal with the MCA computer. It's not ideal. We will probably move in 6 months after we were supposed to move. We've had to do 2 rounds of extensions of this building just to be able to do.
The permits have been.
So,
Permits were long at the beginning and supply chain issues on the construction.
and the supplies is, that's spacing.
My only concern would be the mails,
Yeah,
because we've been 54-25 on board so long. So how we gonna do? That's what works. Are we gonna have?
we'll set it forward up to one place. That's why I don't want to wait till July 20th to make that decision. I want to do it early so we can set a forward up and have it run for like 30 days to some place where we know we can get mail, and that would end.
Would we just want to do a PO box then?
We could potentially just do a forward to a PO box and not tell our customers,
That they're going to appeal.
that's going to a PO box.
Yeah.
I know for residential, the mail forwarding is only 30 days.
No, that's, you can do it for a
You can do it
year.
for up to a year.
Oh,
Mhm.
good to know.
I still get mail from Portland, so.
So I got a question. Are we taking this furniture with us?
Most of it is gonna go. We're gonna make some decisions on what gets launched. Not all of it is gonna go. Like some of it's getting trashed for sure.
Or we could just have it go sell outside?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, not necessarily yard sale, but like, we could post some of the office furniture for sale and try to recoup some of that funds so we can upgrade.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
we are gonna do some upgrade right away, like the entryway furniture at the new location. I already have, and cause York grand opening is Thursday, if anybody wants to drive to York. I highly recommend you drive, I do it often. So our grand opening is Thursday. I love their entryway furniture, and it came from an online store, and we're gonna buy the exact same stuff. So some of the stuff's gonna be new and look great.
And another place where people don't realize some furniture online is Home Depot, and they got some really, really nice, elegant things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
But yeah, so we're obviously, so that was, a little up in the air, but I just wanted to put it out there. If you have personal effects, and an office here, if you want to just start boxing that up, because otherwise we are going to be moving by office, and you can be charged a fee. Isn't that, I remember talking to Jackie about this where, it would just be like the flat fee for oh, your office is this big, and then we'll move all your stuff for you, and then we'll bill you because we're moving your stuff. But if you want to avoid that, then you can move it yourself.
So we have to move our own furnitures.
Potentially, if you,
We're not done with that decision yet.
okay,
I'm still in quotes for move, so I wouldn't.
Okay.
Any accountability,
but yes, personal effects, if you want to start that journey, paperwork, pictures.
We don't have that much, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I'd rather, like, I'd love to have a time where maybe as an ALC or as even all agents, we get together and we go through, because we have offices up there that people that have long been gone, I've never seen them open once, getting that stuff cleaned out.
Mhm.
Like, I think once we minimize down to the actual stuff we need to move, it's not all that much. So,
I just remember talking with Jackie last week and
There were a
she
couple.
suggested,
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable billing people to move their stuff.
Okay.
So I'll just tell you that.
And-
upfront.
And I think we should keep as many desks as possible for the new office.
Yes,
Because both of them, the desk and the office, actually, I think belong to the office or other agents.
yeah,
I just moved from one room to the other, or outside to inside.
Mhm.
I actually don't own the desks and chairs in the office. So I think it's, every time the agent try to purchase, like Michael has a lot of furniture, he bought like 4 desks, but, when there's an accident happen, then they have to think about move on the furniture. So I don't know, if we already have a lot of desks here, we can put it in the new office.
Yeah.
And whoever want to rent the office.
we're gonna do inventory and like go by sizes of the desks and then match them up to the office rooms.
Yeah.
So we can make a smooth move over.
Yeah.
Like, if we have 24 desks here and we have 14 office spaces there, we're gonna go to 14, you know what I mean?
We do have a 14 there, or that's in the number you make.
I just made that up. It's actually,
How many offices do you know?
so I think for single room offices, we have 16.
60,
Yeah.
all upstairs.
No, we do have first floor as well.
Oh,
So Joe, I like your idea as far as, because that can be like a networking event. If all of us meet up and start moving, helping each other move, that'd be a perfect networking event.
That would be
We
cool.
could order some.
can you assign office right now, or?
Did Chris hop out?
yeah, she
Yeah.
has to leave.
Okay, we can get to that. We can get to that.
No, we can talk.
Yeah, because I would like to be able to start assigning spaces and that would help
I mean,
us.
one thing we assign office, I can think about moving myself or
Yeah.
adjusting the furniture. It's gonna be similar size.
Yes,
She wouldn't have to have a dog, so if anybody can count.
Oh, that's Humane Animal Rescue. I don't know what their
Somebody
number.
keeps giving them this number.
I don't know where
That was
people-
her all-
I had someone ask if we had kittens to adopt
She said that
last
was
week.
in the list.
It's,
I think it's like 1 digit off.
yeah, because our 345-7000 Humane Animal Rescue is 345-7003.
I said, I'm not.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fascinating stuff.
Are you
So
gonna still have both exchanges at the new office or just the new one?
it's a good
I don't know
question.
how the signs.
I mean,
yeah, I'm not
'cause
sure.
We have signs that have the old number, we have
Yeah.
the new number.
Both of them come to the front.
Right,
Office
I know,
phone.
I'm just wondering if, what technology you're taking, because it's probably 2 Bs.
That's something that we need to figure out. I know the phones that we have currently we're renting, but then we have our old phones that are in our closet right now. I don't
We
know.
don't need to.
No,
Right.
we went through 2 years of.
Oh,
Right.
it was horrible.
Yeah, so I don't know if those were rented or if they were purchased.
They were purchased.
Okay,
They
so,
were-
Yeah, if we can get some money back on those, I'm
I
more
wouldn't-
than
I
game for
wouldn't
that.
do it.
Rage room. That's all they're
Yeah,
doing
we'll
for.
go office space.
Yeah, okay, so yes, it's just letting you know, July 31st, hard move out date for here. Lots of things are unknown still.
What's the date again, July 31st?
Yes, that's the last day that we're allowed to be in this office. So, okay, let's just move on, because we could spend hours on
Yes.
the new move. So Cindy is actually rejoining KW, the Altoona office. And so as an R2, she expressed interest in joining the ALC. So does anyone have any opposition to having Cindy join us in our meetings going forward. So-
Cindy was with York, and then her and her family relocated to Coast Altoona.
Oh,
She came on board with us in January, and then kind of a multitude of reasons. There was disruption in her move and things happened and got a little shaky for her. She kind of panicked and really one group made her an offer that ended up not being what they offered. So she went over the fence and the grass wasn't green and she came back.
smart decision.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are so pumped when Joe called me to let me know that he had a conversation with her about coming back. That was a gut punch when we lost her. And to get her back, so equally, if not more, so shout out. We're excited to have her. She's been in the business for 22 years, 21 years. An incredible personality, very, very, very bright. Yeah, I think she'd be a great addition for us, for sure.
She was on the ALC in New York.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, she was. So,
So are we want to approve this then? Yeah. All in favor? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So got that. And then finally, the main reason we're here is that Jennifer Burns,
Don't make me cry.
we as an ALC are going to vote on if we would like her to
When
be
we
the
would
new.
like
Yeah.
so can I make my presentation?
Yes, you can. Do you want to come up and?
Yeah. So, all right. So taking the OP role here was not a small lift, and we've been on a journey the last 8 months or so, right? And when Andrea let me know what her decision was going to be when we got back from family reunion, I was like, okay, like back to the drawing board here. And I've had a chance to take pretty much everybody ALC wise one-on-one for sushi, right? Or we've gone out several times. You might think I'm still mad I missed the tacos and tequila at Bakery Square.
I would like an invite.
J-Lo happened to be super lucky and she was here the day I had an extra ticket for like the 8th row of the Pens game. So, I'm so committed to excellence out here and just really, making sure that we are what I say our vision, what my vision is, what our vision is to be the market center of choice for Pittsburgh. And so, I was like, all right, back to the drawing board. And so I've actually had the chance to work with Jennifer before I'd taken, time to sit down with her. And she wasn't in a place where it would have made sense for a leadership opportunity. And so that's cool, right? Like, I'm not gonna force it. And as we had the vacancy, she came to me and she was like, I think I'm game. Like, I think I would like to have the opportunity. I had looked at people outside of the market center for sure. Doug, kudos, right? You took that with pretty much zero notice, right? Andrea said, hey, I'm gonna pass. And my next call was him. I was like, hey, you just got promoted from PC 6 days ago to interim TL and PC. So he and I had honest conversations about that because it was important to me that we have somebody boots on the ground in the market center. And so him being from Altoona, he's been making this drive weekly, right? Sometimes twice weekly. And so really grateful for that.
If I can jump in real quick, because I want to move on to what really is an important part of this. You guys have been amazing. And part of the reason I accepted okay, to do it, was what I felt from going back to September and meeting some of you one-on-one. I'm a big energy person, so getting that from you guys was a big reason why I was okay with making that commitment. But more so than that, our first ALC, when you basically challenged us to show us what we're all about. I took that to heart, and I'm very, very proud of what we've been able to do since that day. And the support, I'm gonna cry. The support from these two in this office, Ally and Jennifer, when it came to the discussion for what Joe and I have had open discussions about several opportunities. Because it was never gonna be about me long-term. I took that understanding that. I don't want to slant anyone's opinion or vote, but I told him when he asked, I said, she's the only option. So I just can't
So, Don,
think of a better person. So
me
I want to thank you guys.
like,
for
me and
that.
Jennifer has this special relationship. And I've been saying since Bob. Okay, Jen, won't you take that position? She's like, oh, like Jen, yes. So when we got our private conversation and then she told me, I just wanted to scream and tell the whole world. And I was like, in my mind, Joe better have it.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I left it. I'm handing the keys over in better shape than when I found it. I hope that I was able to do that.
For sure.
And I thank all of you guys for all the support and the patience, quite frankly. We've hit we haven't had a lot of let up moments, is what I like to say. But we have come a long way since February, and that's a tribute to everybody in this room and quite frankly, our agents that are not in this room as well. So
yeah,
that stuck with us. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that what you just described have not been a lot of let up moments, that's for sure. So I'll be really, I'm usually very transparent. I will continue to be. I thought for a period of time I needed an outside voice to become our new team leader. And so I don't know whether that was slanted or just the feeling of needing to like rewrite the story here, and that it was going to be hard to do that without a fresh voice. And so I was wrong with that. And I've become very confident that I was wrong with that, because in conversation with Jennifer over the last 2 months, really, right? It was not a quick decision, and it wasn't a quick move. Was that who better to tell the reason why our market center is the market center of choice than somebody who has ridden it through the toughest days, which are long behind us, and who does believe in Keller Williams as the reason to stay, and believes in our leadership, our agents, our ALC as the reason to keep going, right? So, so for that reason, I've career visioned her, and we are 97% of the way done. We have verbal agreement on comp and all of the other, tactical things that come with a job offering. But I am presenting her, Jen, as our potential TL candidate. And if anybody would like to ask any questions of her, this is the opportunity, right? We didn't quite have the luxury of this maybe 7-8 months ago with Andrea, and we do now, and you know her. So if you have a question about what's going to be different, if you want to challenge anything, now's the time. I have a challenge question for you in front of everybody.
Awesome.
And no pressure. And so now's the chance, and then we'll just take a yay or nay vote that I can record and send off to the region. It's a part of it. So any questions, any thoughts? Anybody want to advocate for or against?
So I want to say one thing, he's not here, but I know we would have voted 2 times for her. It's my.
Do you want the key to your office?
I know. Start it off, Joe. What's your challenge question?
Well, I'm gonna leave space. Jayla, I'm looking at you. Do you have any thoughts or questions? I want you to be included.
I just say that I support Jennifer. I know she has been there for me personally. Whenever I call her, she's available to answer the phone and help me through anything that I need. So her as the new team lead, I'm 100% behind her. And I'm just excited to see what she does for the office. So go, Jen.
I can't, my comment / questions have already been answered because Jennifer and I have had several hours of dialogue. Some that Joe doesn't even know about. But that's part of leadership. That was one thing that really stood out to me with regards to her, outside of just getting to know her as a person, was her willingness to engage in both, asking questions and being demanding of answers. So that quality that she brings to our group, that we have a pretty good, I think we've built a pretty good leadership team with what we have. We have a really good dynamic. Joe and I specifically have, we have a really unique dynamic, and I enjoy our conversations. And Jennifer, I think, fits right into that dynamic with agent engagement and making sure support is there, making sure the ALC is, has in front of them what they need. I can't wait to really crack open the productivity coaching and really spread its wings the way that it deserves to be. Jennifer, having had that position prior to, is going to be an invaluable resource for me. And the plans that her and I have already preliminarily discussed with working with the other offices, incorporating them in specific ways, incorporating other memberships of our members of our leadership, both locally and regionally, into productivity. I'm excited. She's checked every box. Like I told Joe right out of the gate when I was asked, she's the only choice.
And look, I agree, when we first got command, it drove me crazy. And, listen, Chris, I love Chris, but she has, for somebody teaching me, she has too much energy. I had to be I was like bouncing. I was like, and, Jen got on the phone with me. She got me into her assistant in Texas, and we sat there, and she would call, or I'll call her, that she walked me through this. Because like I said, I sat with Chris, and I was like, okay, let's go have a drink. Because all of that just went over my head. Right? It was like all over my head. And Chris would like say, okay, let's do it this way. And I'm like, I'll figure it out. And Jen seen that frustration in me, and she reached out to me. And this is years ago, right? And she's always still been there, whatever issues, whatever, walking me through, So yeah.
I'll close out by saying that this decision, I'm so confident in it, that starting July 1st, and Joe doesn't know this, I haven't even told him yet. I'm going to join West Penn MLS, and I am going to start working with Ali and Jennifer. We'll talk about company dollar coming here from those contributions.
Sweet.
So I just decided it's time to open myself up too. I have my own path, and Jennifer and Ali both, quite frankly, have. And watching you guys too is an inspiration to want more. Not that our market is a bad market, but there's more, and I know there's more I can do. So,
but I agree with Joe, and I'm glad you didn't pick somebody from the outside. I don't talk about people's face or anything, but me and Andrea, that was not a really good mix, and I just was working on it because of you. But with Jen knowing, she could sit down and talk to a new agent and say, yeah, we were here, but now we're here.
Yeah.
And the vision, our vision has changed, and between us 5 here, we could all walk out the door and went somewhere and made a difference, but we stuck to it. And I think that says a lot.
Well, we can't thank you. I have to thank you guys already. I know Joe and I we've talked about our gratitude for having you guys weather the storm. I can't thank you guys enough, and appreciate your continued contributions on that.
Not only professionally, but personally too.
Yeah.
Maybe a photo. So.
I want to say something too, because I don't normally have a questions about your questions. I think I have a 6-year experience, but I had one question 2 months ago. And about addendum, I never used that. And I want to make sure I did it right. So I go through my phone, like which agent I should call to know that. So the only person I think of is Jennifer. So I called Jennifer, asked her the question. She was in a party.
I don't even remember.
Was like, you say like a broker,
Yeah.
a mortgage broker?
Yes,
party or
oh,
something?
we were at the thing.
She picked up my call, was a lot of noise in the background, music.
Yeah.
She explained to me there, what's how I need to build out the agenda. So I trust her a lot, and I think she's the perfect person. She's gonna be probably the best, one of the best ones. Yeah.
That leads me to a question.
Ooh.
I see,
I like the tone. I like the tone.
I didn't have to ask her.
So,
Because he turned the whole chair.
so this is what it's like to watch this. Okay.
Bring it.
I think everybody knows I love Jennifer. I've been a proponent of this position for her for a long time, so I'll say that to start. My question for you is, what steps are you going to take to create work-life balance for yourself?
Amen.
Oh, right, that's a good one.
That's actually one of the main reasons to have taken this job. To be honest, when you're a solo agent, it's difficult to have that leverage, coverage for vacations or time off or weekends, unless you have a team and you've got someone that can help you. I feel incredibly lucky to come into this position with Doug and Alana and Eva already in place to be able to feel, that's actually in my 30-day checklist of making sure that everybody in the Market Center knows who to talk to when they have whatever question, whatever that falls in, so that the agents know where to funnel those questions properly. But for me, and really a great question, is that a huge reason why it was finally time and I was finally ready is that I've been making those steps over the last probably 10 months, incorporating health and wellness into just my personal life, whether it was nutrition or working out, and just prioritizing myself over a very, very busy, the busiest I've ever been. So coming into this, I feel like I'll have the leverage that I need. I'll have the coverage that I'll need to be able to take this time off. And I'm also going to just be more assertive about boundaries. I think that as leaders in this Market Center, we really need to do that and be able to answer questions whenever we can, but also to recognize, you know, do you need the phone call at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night to fill out a new contract when you didn't come to all the classes all week? You know what I mean?
What was the
So-
condition I gave you to even be considered?
The condition.
There was more.
Well, the one condition was to also start a team to get coverage on my own sphere, because I am a top producing agent in this office, and to lose that production would be detrimental, would be going backwards. So Allie and I are forming a team so that my sphere, my organic leads of my own, and my people can be loved on by an agent in this office, as well as just helping to, you know, develop that and make sure that the office is not losing them. So, you know. So yeah, that was that. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel better supported in this role to have that kind of time.
We definitely have more secure, firm up levers for that TL position.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I want to say, I know Jennifer, several years ago, I started coming to the ALC. I like knowing information. I attended her classes, and she's very, very good at explaining things to people, quickly doing things, showing shortcuts, helping organize people, and really getting people on board. And I've always respected that. Yeah, what you pull together, like there's so much information out there that agents need to know. Yeah, and it's so hard for each agent to go in there and understand things. So I think as a team leader, you're gonna be able to do some of the things that you were doing before. Not necessarily you doing it, but pulling that stuff back in so you can get that information out to agents. Because there's so much stuff that goes on in the MLS. Well, they give us these news, 3.3 has changed. Well, how did it change? Okay? Who has time to go in there and pull up that 66-page document and read that? Please.
Well, it's also a goal of mine, and Joe knows this as well. I was already on a path to completing my broker's license this year, so that's happening. Prioritizing the market center and prioritizing my own individual goals in that way too is happening. So
That's great.
Yeah.
So I'll share in my self-reflection, I asked a couple of questions. One is, do the people, it's tough as an OP who doesn't live in the market center, right? So I asked this question of myself is, do the people that I have on my team represent the market center I want to have when I'm not in the room? And I think that the answer that I come up with her, with Jen, is absolutely, right? Also, the future piece of that question is, does she as a TL, does our team leader represent the market center we intend to be, right? And so what we're working on bonus structure, but do you want to share like what our real future pacing target looks like?
Oh my gosh.
There's only two that are like the really big future ones.
In terms of agent count?
Agent count and profit. What are
Agent
those?
count and profit. So the goal for us is to get to 200 agents. I think I'm a little bit more ambitious than even the 30, 60, 90 that Joe's given me. Is to take my experience as a realtor and really use that to have really good conversations with agents about what we can be offering here at this market center. So I'm really, really hyped on getting us from where we at 111 to 200 agents, which I think is going to help us all feel like more energy, more experience, more networking here. The other one is profitability. It's really important to me. I mean, I'll just be transparent. It's kind of embarrassing, but also just truthful. I've never actively recruited to this office because frankly, it was not a recruitable place. I never felt confident in encouraging an agent to come here. And really one of the main reasons of pursuing this position was recognizing that if I was going to be having a recruiting conversation with somebody, if I'm in the leadership position, I know it's going to be promises delivered. It's not going to be empty promises. So the profitability is really important. So I segue that into saying I have 0 agents in my profit share. And so that's really incredibly important to me for those of you that have been recruiting and have folks in your profit share to get the market center profitable so that you can start, earning on that. So the other one, the second one is a $250,000 profitability for the market center.
In a 12-month.
In a 12-month period. We're currently not there.
So we actually, it's crazy because last month we paced we were cash flow positive, like to a substantial degree. We're still writing down bad debt from prior mistakes that people made. So it's frustrating that we're getting to that point, that tipping point in terms of that profitability, and we're still fighting that. So we're there. We're like home stretch of it, I would say.
Can I add something to what Jennifer said?
Yeah.
The whole tone of the market center has changed, and Joe, you have brought that on. I can feel that. I mean, I just know, just with everything that's happened with Michael and how you dealt with it, it's been really great. And I feel exactly like Jennifer. I could not tell someone come here because you're going to get enough support, and you're not in the atmosphere and so forth. But I feel that that is changing here, and I think that I feel that I can bring somebody on and know that that's going to change and how people are supported.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And the energy has changed.
Yes.
And I think I've been so emotional for weeks. The energy that our new office is going to bring it's going to be amazing because we've been through a lot, but the future looks so much brighter.
Yeah, that's for sure. So my hard question
Yes.
is this: And I didn't make this up on myself. There. Knowing, so you kind of alluded to it, right? That you haven't recruited and this has been a journey. It's been an up and down. You're a productivity coach, you've been in production, mega agent, et cetera. Knowing that you've been in different places, different seasons, what's different now that this is the time that you are both feet into the role, that we can all have confidence in that?
The first answer to that is ownership of the market center. Who is the OD? That was 100%. I, again, not to speak negatively, but I would not have thrived very well under previous owners. I feel confident that during opportunities that were provided to me in the past under other TLs, that would not have worked for me personally either. It all worked out the way it was supposed to. Physically, taking better care of myself, whether it's meditation, working out, nutrition, and just health and wellness for me has been a huge journey since September. I also really, truly can speak to the last couple of TLs that we've had, and I'll just speak confidentially, but also transparent, that that was kind of anxiety inducing to me, to see what possibility there was in the leadership role and how we just were not really able to get our finger on it. And so I started listening to a bunch of podcasts on leadership and just trying to feel better about my own business or whatever. And every single one kept leading me to leadership. It just kept leading me down that road until one day I'm talking to Ali and she said, well, why wouldn't you think about it? Because he had offhanded said it in a couple of conversations, kind of jokingly, but kind of serious. And it finally just,
You never know what you'll catch.
it came down to a simple phrase was, if not me, then who?
Yeah.
And I've said that to myself several times. This is a huge change for me and my family. But I believe in growth, and I believe that that's where I can be and to reach the goals that I have out of sales. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We've had honest conversations.
Yeah.
I wanted to directly ask that question.
Yeah. That is my story. That is part of my why.
I think, and you guys are hearing that answer for the first time. I've heard pieces of that answer before. Tell me, do you think that it would be valuable to have somebody who's from within the market center share that story to our agents and be honest and transparent about that? Everything that
I think yes. And I think all of us have a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
And
I can't imagine that there aren't agents at other brokerages that aren't sitting in a place of just like, I don't want any of my hard work and earnings to be going to these individuals or to this company or to whatever that feeling is of just feeling unsatisfied with the work that you're doing. I was in a class, and I wonder if I have it here, but the conversation was about, like, in the absence of value, cost matters. And so I think to what we can offer here and what's already been growing, coupled with the KW cap and the earning potential here, I think if we just get the real KW systems and training in place, it's just going to be like sheep fishing around.
Yeah, I agree. I've said it before. I'm not sure that Keller Williams has ever been executed really well in the city of Pittsburgh.
In general.
Yeah, and so let's do it. So
I'll go.
we don't need her to leave, do we?
No.
All in favor? Yay?
Yay.
Okay.
Twice.
Do we have any objections or any challenges? No.
I'm laughing. Ellie doesn't get to vote.
I know, that is great. And Jayla was on and she gave us her yay.
And Ollie gave me her vote.
And Allie.
Ollie.
Those are my Cheerios. I bring them from my hotel when
Oh,
They've been sitting here
I'm
for.
sorry.
Yeah, they're not fresh, I'm just warning you.
No, they're not. I'm sorry.
Okay. Cool, I appreciate it. Onward.
Thank you, everybody.
I'll finish it with the region, but that was the last.
Okay,
I have to finish it with the region.
okay.
My intention is to move her into the interim position, by next Monday.
All right, remember, the office will be closed in observance of Juneteenth on June 20th. So next Monday, we will be closed. Team meeting is on the 21st. It will be with Cinch Home Services, Ernest, and HAM as our speakers. Ernest is a new way to get your hand money processed.
Yep.
But it's a lot easier and fantastic and beautiful.
And
So,
it makes my life.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
it's a hell of a lever for her.
yeah.
Huge.
And then command class has been pivoted to command office hours with Chris. That is 11 to 1 p.m. on Fridays in person. So if you ever have any command issues, just come in here, like office hours for college. You can ask her questions because she'll be here. Next meeting is on the 12th of July, same time. I appreciate everyone's patience in going through all of this, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.